Okay, awesome. Awesome. And good evening to all of our team in Africa. Good evening to our partner council members in Nigeria, in South Africa. I see you on the call. Ajiri, Nick Papers, Yolandi. Good evening to all of our global leaders who are also joining us, like Anthony Morland from US, who is building massively in Nigeria. We're super excited to have everyone on the call. We recognize you, all of the hard work that you're putting in. It's the second half of the year. And thank you for all of the amazing hard work you've put in the first half of the year. And so this call is to continue to empower you and provide you with the right information to help you build your business in our company partner call. And so to do that, we have on the call with us our Vice President of Global Commission, Dan Callery. He will take us through the compensation plan. And if we have an exciting evening, I can guarantee you he will be here again next week to help us look through our commission summary, some of the questions we've been asking, and to provide clarity around all of that. And so I'll hand over the rest of the time to Dan Callery. My name once again is Blessing, Head of Business Development. I have my colleague on the call, Neil Ntunyai in South Africa. I think Neil is having some network issues. Dan, over to you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for that introduction, Blessing. I want to just quickly give a shout out to our leadership team over there in Africa. They do a lot of really, really good work for you guys. They really do care about you. I get emails from them a lot, fighting for you, fighting for your business. They definitely care. And I have to just give acknowledgement to Blessing. You have the best first name. Can I just say that real fast? You have the coolest first name. How can anybody think of a better first name than Blessing? I just have to give you a quick shout out.
I know.
Okay. Let's see. Do I have ability to share my screen? Am I okay to do that?
Yes, please. You are.
Okay. Let me just see. Okay. I love switching from which one did I share? Am I sharing? No, I don't know which screen I'm sharing. Hold on. Let me try that again. Oh, here we go. Oh. Okay, can you guys see the screen with a bunch of people looking like they're having a party on a sailboat kind of a thing? Are we all seeing the same thing?
Yes, we can.
I think, okay. All right, we're good. I am not, they don't pay me to do technology. So this is a little for me. Okay, let me just give a quick little background about myself, and then I'll dive into our conversation tonight. My background with Partner Co. goes back quite a few years. I started with one of the former companies that Partner Co. was a part of called Marinda. I started back in the late 1990s, which that seems like a really, really long time ago, because it is. About 26 years ago. I've been with this company for about 26 years. I started as a customer service agent as I was kind of working my way through my secondary education here in the United States. Fell in love with the products, stuck around, was able to move around, go travel the world with this company. Like, it was really cool. All my friends getting jobs out of college were getting like the most boring jobs. I had this job where I was traveling. It was so much fun. I got to go to Mexico City, to Tahiti, all around the world for this company. And it was just it won me over. It won my heart. And that with the friends that I was making, the relationships I was building, and there's a lot of other factors, but I've been able to be part of this company for quite a long time. Part of my earlier career with the company was I spent about 2 years with our commissions team back in the early 2000s. Me into a position that I maintained for about 16 years, which was on the sales part of our company. Kind of like working really hand in hand with brand partners around the United States, which was my assigned region. But got to work the other side of the business, which is more with what you all do day to day. About 3 years ago, I took a position back in the commissions department, filling a need for the company. And it's been my pleasure to make sure that commissions get paid every single week, that they're paid on time, and that they're paid accurately, which is my primary function right now with the company. They don't let me do a lot of these trainings anymore, so this is kind of this is really a unique opportunity for me. Recently, I don't do a ton of Zoom calls. As you can see, I can barely even share my monitor, so there's probably good reason behind that. But this is what I love to do. I love to talk to people about our compensation plan, how it works, the ins and outs of it. Hopefully we'll go through and have a pretty good conversation about it. First things first, though, as we talk about this, Partner Co. operates a compensation plan that's we have a couple of tiers of our plan. Let me just put it that way. We have a Plan A version of our plan, which is probably for most of the world globally right now, with a handful of about 10 markets. We have a Plan B, which is probably 6 or 7 markets. And then we have a Plan C compensation plan, which is for just a handful, so probably 3 or 4 markets, okay? Tonight, we're gonna try and talk about Plan C, which is what affects Nigeria and South Africa. This is the plan that you all operate on. This presentation, I will give full disclosure, is really a retrofitted version of the Plan A compensation plan. I've spent the last little while trying to make sure that it's tailor-made for the Plan C market. But as I was trying to get this presentation ready to go this morning, I realized I don't think anybody in our company has a Plan C comp plan presentation. So we're going to try and blend the two together. So some of the slides, I think I've got everything corrected to where it's Plan C. As I go through this, I'll probably correct some slides as I go through. But anyway, we're going to walk through just the very basics of our comp plan, which we do feel is the most rewarding and highest paying comp plan in the industry. It's very unique. I think there's some really cool features of our plan that you won't find anywhere else. There are aspects of the plan that do function similar to other types of plans, but maybe our take on it is better. So there's some really cool things that we'll talk about throughout this presentation. We're going to kind of walk through this from a very, very ground floor. Okay, first foot in the door, your first experience with Partner Co. What do we do? So the first thing that you're going to do when you enroll your business with Partner Co. to set yourself up to be able to optimize the best out of the plan is you're going to activate your income position. You can activate your income position a couple of different ways. Well, maybe not more than 2. There's probably, okay, let's say 3. The first is you can purchase the required amount to activate your income position. The second would be you could actually activate your income position by purely selling to customers underneath you. And I guess the third would be kind of a mixture of those first two. So kind of partially you bought your income position with your own purchase. Part of it was part of it is you've sold to some consumers. And so you can kind of do a couple of different options. After you activate your income position, you're going to go to the App Store and you're going to download some of our apps. I believe that these all work international. I'm not the marketing person, so I don't know. So this is kind of out of my scope real fast. This slide is just to say, hey, look, go download our apps, get the tools, get ready to go. Okay, believe that those all work in all of our different markets. Then what you're going to do, if you there's a couple of different philosophies of this. And so I talked about the first two. The third bullet point is you're going to sell your product to new customers. Some people will tell you different. Some people will say, hey, we want you to consume everything that you bought so that you can become a product of the product. Some people will say, hey, go sell your products that you just bought and get all your money back. Guess what? You can do whatever you want there. There's kind of some, whatever works best for you. I think it's important to do both. I think it's important to have those products in your, let's just say in your bloodstream, even though maybe not all of them are ingestible, but to have them as part of your routine, a part of your lifestyle, it's a very important thing. But also, selling products to customer and establishing customer base is also very important for launching any business. And then the next step is you're going to achieve a business level. You're going to look at this and say, wow, that graphic on the right side of the screen looks really chintzy. That's because Dan Calley this goes back to that conversation. I'm retrofitting a presentation kind of last minute. So we're going to have to work, hopefully by next week, we might have some jazzier looking graphics for this slide. But you're going to establish your business level. Now, this would be the business levels on the right, the point values associated with them. There are 4 business levels, and each business level has a point value or volume requirement. Points end up being the point value or PV is associated with every product that you purchased from us. Each market, regardless of what the price point is, has an associated PV with it. So however many products you purchase with their PV is what's going to determine your eligibility within your business level. Okay. Your business level is determined by the volume you accumulate in your first 4 calendar weeks, or easier said, your first 4 Fridays. So today, what is today? Today's Monday. So if you signed up today, you'd have this Friday plus 3 more Fridays. So a total of 4 Fridays to get your business level established. Okay. And you do that by either purchasing, this gets a little bit repetitive, purchasing or selling your products to your customers. Okay. All right. In a Plan C market. Oh, hey, there's like doodles on the screen. That is really cool. Did I do that, or is that somebody else doing doodles on the screen? I wish I knew how to doodle on my own screen, but good job, whoever did that. Okay, so the minimum sales threshold is 20 PV every 4 weeks to stay eligible for commissions. There's in network marketing, there's a minimum purchase requirement to stay active and qualified for commission payout. We are a weekly commission plan, which I should probably talk about. Maybe let me finish this point, and then we'll talk about being a weekly plan versus a monthly plan. But it's 20 PV every 4 weeks to stay commissions eligible. Now, my next slide. Hey, queued it up perfectly. Our compensation plan is a weekly plan, which is different from the other companies are monthly. It's kind of been an evolution in the history of network marketing, how we're able to do things faster and faster today than what we were even doing 25 years ago when I first started with the company. When I started 25 years ago, the idea of paying out weekly was unheard of in the industry. Like, it was way too fast. Companies couldn't do it that fast. So the company that the parent company that I started with, Marinda, we had a weekly commission that went out the door, and that was paying things very, very fast. Now our entire plan is a weekly plan. So when I met with, and I'll just give you a little bit of context of why that's actually pretty impressive. We have a new CFO, a chief financial officer with our company, really good guy named Shane Ware. Shane comes to us from another competitor company, and it's kind of interesting. They kind of innovated in their company. They're a monthly plan, but they innovated a way to pay out daily commissions to people. And when I first met Shane, I thought, oh man, he's going to try and ask me to speed up and pay even faster from a weekly plan. But he looked at ours and he said, oh my gosh, how do you guys pay out the entirety of the plan every single week? It's actually pretty remarkable that every single week we are completing a full commission calculation, like process, period, paid out every single week. So I don't know if that's impressive to you or not. It really, for people who are in the industry and see what we're doing, they're actually pretty blown away by how fast we are able to get qualification commissions calculated and paid back out to you by the following Friday. So the qualification period for your commissions, it's weekly. And now our week, in the very nerdy technical sense, it starts local time, not American time, but local time, Saturday morning at 12:01 a.m. And then it runs all the way, excuse me, it would actually be 12 a.m. Saturday morning. That's the real nerdy part of it. Then it runs all the way till the following Friday night at 11:59 p.m. local time. And so that's our calendar week. When we say how you qualify for volume and titles and all those different things, that's your qualification period. So it's Saturday morning to Friday night. We run our subscriptions every Saturday. So if you sign up on subscription, which I would encourage that you do, that runs Saturday right at the beginning of each qualification period. Now, for us to be able to pull this off, we start calculating commissions the following Tuesday. Today is still Monday here in the United States, excuse me, and we will start calculating your check for whatever you did last week. We'll start that calculation process tomorrow, and then we will test it, run it again, test it, and then we will start to send payments out the door, hopefully that you'll be able to receive them in your bank account by Friday. It's a whirlwind to be able to do that every single week, but we're able to do that, and we have a great team of people behind us that help make that happen. So that's how the commission qualification period works, and that's the timing of it. So to be able to, and why that's exciting for you as a brand partner, in a monthly plan. So it's July 1st today. So if you were operating from a monthly plan, anybody that you signed up today or anybody that orders today, you're not going to see payment on that into your bank account until after the end of the month, which is, I mean, at a minimum, it's 31 days from now, but usually it bumps into the next month by a week or two at least, so that the company can get those payments out the door. So paying a weekly plan, that's just a huge advantage for you as a brand partner, because you get whatever activity happened, you get that money in your account the following Friday. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty good. So anyway, as my kids, I have young kids, so as my kids like to say, Dad, you're flexing on that. I don't flex a whole lot, but that's our partner co-flex, is that we get checks out the door every Friday. So very cool. All right, so today we're going to talk about, I'm going to be honest with you, we're not going to talk about all of these. We're going to get through probably bullet point number 7. I won't talk about business rewards or loyalty shopping, which I don't even know if business rewards is still a thing. I don't know about loyalty shopping. So we're going to do the first 7 ways that you get paid here at PartnerCo. That's all right with everybody. The first one is retail profits. Now, I used to, being in the industry as long as I have been and looking at people's plans, I used to kind of roll my eyes at this one. This is going to be a bad confession. And that is, I used to kind of scoff at the whole idea of retail profits. Like, okay, it's not really the company paying out any money. The way retail profits, and this is pretty standard for most companies, is that it's the price difference between what you're paying on the wholesale side and what you're selling it to your consumers at. There's a ton of flexibility there. If you're selling products just person to person, like you bump into somebody, they hand you X amount of dollars, hopefully you've given them a price where you've just received the retail profit. Now, if you send them to our website, or if you use some of our tech, some of our apps to fulfill orders with, you can direct them and they will pay at least a 30 excuse me, not at least, but they can pay up to a 30% marked up retail price. And whatever they pay us, we just put that difference back in your pocket each week. Okay. Now, I used to roll my eyes at that until I saw how powerful it's done here at Partner Co. And it's actually really slick. And I think it's a very, very valuable part of what we do. It's really, and I think retail profits entirely a mindset thing for you as brand partners. It's being able to say, I believe that our products are worth this 30% marked up price, and that's what the price is, and I'm going to stand behind it. It's the best price for what you're going to get for that product. And being able to stand and back up your products like that and ask for that marked up price. The company that I was part of, everybody was a little gun shy to sell a product at full retail. They thought it was too expensive, and so they never sold it at full retail. So everybody kind of undercut the retail price, and nobody made any retail markup. And it was such a weird thing for me to help people with, and that is to say, hey, look, everywhere you go, you're paying retail price for whatever product you purchase. Whatever store you go shop at in South Africa or Nigeria, somebody's making money off of what you're buying. They're not selling that to you for free. They're marking it up, and you're paying, and you're willing to pay that price. Why not you owning your own business? Why are you afraid to ask for people to pay a 30% marked up price? Was always kind of, it was just baffling to me why people wouldn't do it. But here it's actually really slick. You can direct them to the website. They can pay 30% marked up. Everybody loves a deal. If you want, you say, hey, here's the 30% marked up price. If you want, I can cut you a deal, and let me give you 15% off your order. Okay. So you can, there's some room there for you to haggle and still make at least a 15% markup. So you get the retail profit of that. You guys are all smart people. Americans, sometimes we need the extra added help with the maths. So there's a little slide on here that just says, hey, look, if you pay $100 for your product, you turn around and sell it for 130, you made $30 in retail profit, and there you go. Okay, so retail profit, that's a very important way that you can profit financially from these wonderful products that we sell. All right. Okay, very unique to the Plan C market is this idea of a first order bonus. I don't have a ton of really cool slides about this, but just to explain what the first order bonus is, and this is completely unique. This is unique to your markets. We don't have this for people in the United States. They don't get this. So this is exclusively for Nigeria and South Africa and any other Plan C market. A brand partner earns a first order bonus from products sold to new consumers, whether it's a customer or another brand partner. All product purchased on the first order earns the commission to the sponsor of 35%. So you get a really, really cool 35% bonus on that first purchase that the person makes. Okay, everything else falls into the regular base commissions. 35% goes to the personal sponsor. Now, one of the things that we get a lot of questions on about the first order bonus is, especially when you start to build levels underneath you of people who are sponsoring people, which hopefully all of you have. If somebody gets a first order bonus in your downline, that on just that order, the upline is going to get 50% of the volume into their base commission. Okay, so that's how that's a first order bonus thing that's totally unique to your market. Big payout to the personal sponsor. The upline gets 50% of the volume on that order into their line, which we'll talk about the lines in just a second. So determining their power line, pay line. Okay. Probably now's a great time to just say, hey, if anybody has questions, feel free to. I don't know how many people are. I didn't even look to see how many people are on here, but if you're chatting questions, I'm a terrible multitasker, so this is not blessing. Maybe I'll put you in charge of just monitoring if there's questions, or just full on interrupt me and say, hey, Dan, let's stop and answer a question. Okay. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking and rolling right through. So if there's any questions, just message Blessing and she can interrupt me. All right. So we talked about retail profits, new volume bonus. Now let's talk about base commission. Base commission tends to be one of the most, if you're not familiar with how binary comp plans work, base commission ends up taking people a little bit longer to kind of grasp how that works. Now, I use the term binary. Our plan is not technically a binary comp plan. We refer to it as a multi-line plan. And the difference would be most binary comp plans, it's called a binary because it forces you to build in 2 lines or legs, as often they're referred to. But it forces you only into 2 legs. You can't have more than the 2. Our commission plan it functions like a binary, except it allows you to have potentially a 3rd leg, a 4th leg, a 5th leg, and so on. You can build infinitely deep and infinitely wide, however your building style, whatever your preferred building style is. Okay. All right. So first things first. Once you activate your income position is your spot in the network, in the sometimes they call it the tree. So your spot in the tree. It allows you to get paid week after week. Now, as you start to build your team, your brand partners are going to be placed into a line with an open position. Now, it's your choice. Usually, when you sign up, based on your business level, is going to determine how many lines you're able to operate in. In this example, we'll just say the person has 3 lines open to build in. As you bring brand partners in, you have the option of putting them anywhere underneath those 3 lines that there's an open position in. Okay, but it will keep you building just in those 3 lines, and then you start to go deep. Oops, I keep hitting the advance button, and I don't know if I'm ready to advance yet. But I think I did cover that. Let's see, as your team of brand partners continues to duplicate and replicate what you're doing, you can start to see your organization starts to grow deeper and deeper. You can keep adding brand partners to your existing teams and partnering people together so that they can work deep. If you want to expand it wide, you have that option to do that as well. But that's the general sense of building a sales network or a sales organization. So you're going to bring in your 2 or 3 people they get started with, and then you're going to funnel everybody else underneath those 3 lines. But being able to build deep and wide is an exclusive benefit for PartnerCo. There's no other plans are doing a multi-line function. All right, so here's how base commission generally works. Every single week, we're going to look at how many lines that you have in your organization. And the first thing the computer is going to do when we start calculating is it's going to figure out which is your power line and which lines would then become your pay lines. Now, the logic behind power lines versus pay lines is pretty simple. The power line ends up being the line with the most volume in it for that particular week. Power line, the uniqueness of our plan is that power line can switch lines based on each individual week, which in regular binary comp plans, what you'll end up having is you'll have a power line or a strong leg or whatever they refer to it as. Your outside line or your weak leg will never catch up to your power line. It's just, there's no way for it to ever really catch up fully. So that power line is just that one side. What ends up happening is people working a binary comp plan never work with people in their power line. It's just, there's no reason to. I'm not getting paid on that power line, so I'm just going to work on my little my weak line or my pay lines as you work. With PartnerCo's plan, what's unique is, hey, one week your power line could be Blessing and her team. The next week, it could switch and it could be Anthony. And so you do want to work with all your teams consistently because you never know when that power line, pay line relationship will change from week to week. Okay. So I think that's actually really cool. I think that's a strength of the plan. It encourages people to work with their entire organization, not just people not in their power line. Okay, so we figure out what the power line is and which are the pay lines. So in this example, the power line has 2,000 points. The pay line, the other two pay lines. Now, even though the other two pay lines would add up to be more than 2,000 points, we're looking at each line as it relates to each other, not a summation of all the other lines compared to the big line. Okay, so the power line ends up being the one line with the highest amount of volume. Now, base commission in a Plan C market is 10%. 10% of the volume in your pay lines will get you what you earn in your base commission check. So in this example, the two pay lines add up to 2,500 points. So the simple math of that is we're just going to add up your pay lines and give you 10% on that. So easy to do math on 10%. It's $250, right? So that's how we would calculate that commission for that week. Now, every single week, we repeat this process over and over and over again. So we're going to figure out the power line, add up the pay lines, and give you 10% on those pay lines. All right. Let's do another quick example. So let's say in this example, there's only two lines. There's a power line, 2,000 points, and a pay line of 1,000 points. So you guys are smarter than me with math. You did 10% of 1,000 points is $100 USD base commission. Now, one of the things that happens in a binary plan or in a multi-line plan like ours is people will say that oftentimes the question is, wait a second, so I had 2,000 points in that line and 1,000 points in the other line. I only got paid on the 1,000 points. What happened to the other points of the other line? Did I get paid on that or did I not get paid on that? So it's a very, very common question that we get. The reality of it is you still will have the opportunity to get paid on that volume, that point differential, and that is through something called carryover. Once the commissions pay out at the end of the period, what we'll do is our computer is going to subtract out the points that you were paid on from that particular line. So all the pay lines essentially get put back to zero, and then the total of all the pay line volume gets subtracted from the power line. And any difference there, can you guys see, if I move my mouse around, can you see my little cursor? I think you can, right? So this amount right here, there's 1,000 points left over from the power line. That ends up getting carried over to the next week. And then you would have the opportunity to get paid on that volume again through building out your pay lines. All right. So that's actually a really cool benefit. So carryover volume is a thing. Any unpaid out power line carryover volume gets carried over to the following week. Now, still no questions. I'm rolling. So if you guys have any questions, Blessing, you just let me know, okay?
So we have two questions in the chat box.
Okay, good.
Dan.
Okay.
Awesome. Let me read out the questions.
Can you read them for me? If I go to the chat box,
I can read that for you.
Okay.
So Nick Pappas is asking if the downline in the power line signs up a first order bonus, does the sponsor get 50% of the PV as base commission allocated in the pay line?
Well, it sounded like the question started off that if it's in the power line, if they sign up in the power line, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if somebody signs up in the power line, I'll just go back to this slide right here. So new person signed up in, let's say this person right here is 500 PV. Well, let me figure out the best way to articulate this to everybody. The power line volume will be determined by everybody that's in that organization. Anybody that's first order bonus in that power line will be 50% of the volume of their first order. Okay, so everybody else, if they're repeat or they're on subscription, they're getting 100% of that PV to the upline contributed to that power line number. So this number ends up being everybody in this organization that is either, that's not their first order, or let's say this person right here, oh, that just advanced the slide. This person right here actually was a first order bonus. They ordered 1,000 points. And now it's kind of a ridiculous point number in South Africa, but just bear with me. That would mean that this 500 points was 50% of their first order bonus number. But that's how the math would work out to where you get 2,000 PV. It would be part of the math that we're displaying in your back office. So you would see the 50% of those points already removed and in the power line. I don't know if that answered the question correctly, but or how you were asking it. If that's not the answer, if that didn't answer it, keep asking.
I think it is. I think it is. So in reality, from your explanation, in reality, the power line base commission volume would probably be 4,000. But because take for instance that they're all new volume, it would only be 50% of that.
Correct. So that's actually a better example than what I gave. So yeah, if all 4 of these people are brand new this particular week, that means that really they purchased 4,000 points worth of volume, but the upline's only getting 50% of that. So very well said. You said it way better than I did. So thank you, Blessing.
No. Okay, so there's another question. He said, in the case of optimization, the excess point will be carried over to the next week, or will it be flushed out?
Ah, great question. Hey, you're queuing me up for my next, oops, going the wrong way here. For the next part of the conversation, okay? So I'm gonna answer that here and say, we haven't talked about optimization, but here's how optimization works. Each pay line can pay up to 2,000 USD per week, which ends up being 20,000 points in a Plan C market, okay? So what the question is, if there's, does the points above 20,000 PV, what happens to those points? The answer is yes, they end up for the following week. They do not carry over. We wouldn't carry over anything above the 20,000 points from one week to the next. The most you could have carry over from one week to the next would be 20,000 PV. Anything excess of that, if you want to describe it as getting flushed out or just getting reset or whatever the case may be, you missed out on the potential to get paid on those points, okay? Did that answer that question?
Perfectly, it did.
Okay, all right. So you have the opportunity to earn up to $2,000 USD per pay line per week. Now, what happens? Oh, yeah, okay. We're gonna talk a little bit more about optimization real fast. So let's say you've built out 2 lines of 20,000 points, and we're telling you that you've capped out how much you can earn on that pay line at $2,000 a week. If that was the end of our comp plan, it would be a very uninteresting plan. So what happens is we give you, when you optimize, there's some really cool things that happen. Number one, there's a bonus pool that we'll talk about in a second that you qualify for. But 2, we give you 2 gifts. We give you two presents, 2 gifts. Everybody likes gifts, right? The first one is we're going to give you a brand new line to start building with. So if you started off with only 2 lines to be able to build into, you optimize both of them, and maybe now you want to start building wide. Great, we gave you a new line to work with, and you can start building with some width to your plan. That's the first gift. The other gift would be a reentry, what we refer to as a reentry. Now, a reentry would be somewhat a new position, a new income position that you can build under that would allow you to expand and continue to build deep into your organization. So as you optimize a pay line, you're experiencing a lot of growth, obviously, in that line. A reentry position into that pay line allows you to reenter into a growing team and to partner with people in your team that are growing and continue to build deep into that organization. Pay lines function exactly the same as reentry positions function exactly the same as your original income position. They have their own power line, pay line relationship that functions exactly the same as the previous entity or income position, excuse me. Okay. Reentering, I think I just said that. So building new teams together, this rewards you for building deep. Now, for as many times as you optimize your income positions, so let's say this would be your income position number 2. If that one optimizes, meaning you have 2 lines underneath there that optimize with 20,000 PV, then we give you another income position, and you can just continue to build deep into your organization. Some of our top checks in our company have many, many income positions that they operate with. And that's how they're able to drive some really massively big checks. Okay. All right. Auto balancing. This one's going to be a little bit unique to Plan C. And I'm hopeful I can explain this. I haven't actually had to explain this to anybody before. So this will be a good test for how to explain auto balancing. Auto balancing works unique to Plan C compared to the other markets. So once you're outside of your first 4 weeks of establishing your business level, if you exceed your minimum sales threshold, which was 20 PV, correct? If you exceed that business level volume, or excuse me, your minimum sales threshold volume, auto balancing will occur. Now, what happens with auto balancing is we're going to find the best place to put that volume in your organization to help you maximize the return on that purchase. Now, depending on where that volume goes, your business level will determine basically what the floor or what the lowest possible percentage is on that auto balance volume. So if you're an ultimate, if you came in as an ultimate, any auto balanced volume, you'll at least get paid 8% at a minimum, with the maximum being 10%. Okay. If you just came in at a basic member activated position, you could be paid as little as 5%, depending on where that auto balancing occurs, or as much as 10%. So there's a unique relationship of auto balance volume in a Plan C market. So this would be one of the benefits of going ultimate in your first couple of weeks. The other benefit we'll talk about in just a couple of slides when we talk about matching bonus. So going ultimate helps increase the percentage of what you get in your auto balancing in a Plan C market. Okay. Now let's get into some of the fun bonuses that we have available for you. How am I doing on time? Did we have this set for about an hour, Blessing? Hopefully everybody got dinner. Like starting off the presentation, I hope everybody got dinner. So he's gonna fold me in half for getting hungry. I love the savings plan bonus. The savings plan bonus is really a unique thing for Partner Co. I don't know if there's other companies that deal with helping people save their money. Most network marketing companies, I don't know if most is the right description. Maybe I'll just say I know of companies that try to get their brand partners into some spaces where it actually hurts their finances. I'll give you an example. There's a company that's probably been 10 years at least, maybe 15 years. called Visalis. And Visalis was a weight loss company, and they had a really explosive growth curve to their company, and then a really tragic crash, if you will. But during their growth curve, one of the things that they were doing is they were getting their brand partners, their distributor base, into leases of BMWs. Americans, we love ourselves some cars. We love a flashy car to drive around in. It's always kind of this status symbol of success. And they would try and get people at a very, very early leadership position into a BMW lease. It was exciting for a little while, until most of those people realized that, hey, the only way that the company is going to pay for that lease is if you maintain your qualification. What ultimately happens in network marketing is you have months where you have kind of your commissions are not entirely stable, so you have some better months than not. But people would really push for this rank, get into a lease, then the next month their volume dropped back, and then they're stuck with the lease. That's not a great financial play. It ultimately is pretty tragic for the people that were part of that company. Is they all ended up defaulting on their leases, which hurts their credit, and it hurts the people. That sad story contrasted with the idea of a savings bonus. Savings it speaks to my financial brain that I think that's a good thing for people, is to save their money. So we encourage people, instead of getting you locked into a car bonus, a car lease that you know it's still your responsibility. We're going to help you save money, and then we're going to have a really cool celebration when you save to a certain point. So the way savings plan bonus works is any period that you earn more than $250 USD in a week in base commissions, we're going to kick in money towards your savings plan goal. Okay, so anything in excess of $250 USD gets you 15% towards a savings bonus. Now, if you optimized, like in this example over here on the right, if you optimize one of your pay lines 1 week, it's $2,000. That means we kicked in $300 towards your savings bonus goal. Now, you can max out in your savings plan each week at $500 towards your savings plan goal. So we kind of cap it on there, but $500 max a week towards the savings plan goal. Now, when that accumulates to $10,000 USD, you have now achieved the savings plan bonus target. We call you up with Darren Zobrist and John Wadsworth and your sales management team, and we have the best phone call with you. It's the coolest thing ever to call you up and congratulate you on earning your savings plan bonus. And we pay that out in the next savings plan week. Okay. Those are some of the coolest phone calls ever to do. I love it. Getting on the phone with people who have earned the savings plan. It's the best phone call we get to make. It usually hits them right at the perfect moment where they needed that money. Instead of them scrambling to figure out how to pay for things, the savings plan helps them pay for things. So it usually hits right at the right spot. I love the savings plan. I think it's a genius idea for people. It just helps you make it just helps you long term to not get locked into silly things like car bonuses. Better use of our money by far. Now, once you earn the $10,000 savings plan check, every 4 weeks we pay you another savings plan installment. So you get it every 4 weeks, $500 per week. So it ends up being an extra $2,000 every 4 weeks. So it keeps going after that. I love the savings plan. The savings plan is super cool. Now, we have 2 global bonuses. I'll talk about them. Oh, here's one of my slides I forgot to correct. This number should be 20,000. Anyway, the income position bonus. Every time you optimize 2 pay line, or a pay line and a power line, you qualify for the income position bonus. We have two bonuses. I'll talk to them. They function very similar. One is I rather call them the deep bonus and the wide bonus, because it just helps me conceptualize what we're talking about. But the income position bonus is the deep bonus. Every time you optimize a pay line, an income position, you get entered into this bonus pool. Now, we take 2% of global PV and we put that 2% into the income position pool. Now, every time you optimize, you get 2 shares. So if each share averages about $200 USD, which is not a locked in amount, it's usually above that, but conservatively it's about $200, you'd get a $400 weekly payment for optimizing your income positions. Now, if you optimize, remember, when you get optimized, you get a gift, you get a reentry. If you optimize that reentry, then you get double the shares for that reentry added back to the original 2 shares. So you get a total of 6 shares into that bonus pool. So it jumps up instead of this amount doubling, it actually jumps up. And then you just keep exponentially growing bigger and bigger. The more income positions that you optimize, that's how we just keep adding 2 more shares to the original amount, and it just keeps perpetuating itself down. So this bonus pool pays out weekly. It's super cool, but it's based on optimizing deep into your organization. The payline bonus rewards you for optimizing wide. So if you optimized one pay line to become eligible for the income position bonus, if you optimize yet another line, so you're building wide and you have a second pay line that optimized, well, then you get access into the pay line bonus, which is 1% of global PV. Now, 1% actually ends up being the bigger bonus pool because it's a little harder for people we see to hit the pay line bonus pool. But it works a similar way. Usually ends up being a bigger share value in the pay line pool. But every time you increase the number of pay lines that you optimize, the more chances or the increased number of shares you get in the bonus pool. And it just pays you out that much more. Okay. Super cool bonus pools. They're a lot of fun, but it just rewards you for optimizing. That's another gift that you get for optimizing lines underneath you. Okay, the last one that I'm going to talk about today. How are we doing on time? I might need a couple of extra minutes, Blessing, but we'll try and keep this tight. The matching bonus ends up being, if we're going to be honest, ends up being the most lucrative part of our plan long term. Base commissions is kind of that medium range, intermediate bonus. We have retail incentive. We had first order bonus. That's great upfront money. Base commissions is a great kind of intermediate reward. And I would say income position bonus, savings plan bonus, kind of that intermediate reward for people. Matching bonus ends up being the biggest part of the check for people building long-term businesses with us. The top leaders of our company who earn massive checks, probably 50% of their checks or more is coming from matching off of people underneath them. The idea of matching bonus, I love that you get to profit from people being successful on your team. And that leads to some really, really great synergies that are built between uplines and downlines. You're cheering everybody on in your downline because you want them to get paid so that you can get paid. That's a beautiful synergistic goal to accomplish in a compensation plan. But you're going to match. The first thing about matching bonus, there's 2 questions that you always have to ask. What am I matching on and what percent do I get? Okay. What are you matching on? You're matching on the base commission earnings of people underneath you. So base commission will only be paid. I mean, we're just talking them being able to build a power line and a pay line, whatever they're getting that 10% on, or if they're in a different market, whatever percentage they get there, that's what you're matching on. Now, the percentage that you're going to match is going to be determined by the level of people, of the person in your organization. In Partner Co, we match 7 generations. Even in the Plan C market, we match 7 generations of payout. Off to the side here is the percentages of what you would match in a Plan C market. But first, how the qualification for matching bonus is the first 3 generations you get by hitting gold status. You get gold in Plan C markets by hitting ultimate. So another gift that you get by going ultimate is you're gifted gold. So once again, I would encourage everybody to go after that ultimate goal. And we talked about that earlier in the presentation. But when you hit gold, you're guaranteed 3 generations of matching bonus for life. And that comes in at 7%, 6%, and 5%. So the rest of the generations, it's just 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's just the math on how this plan was set up. Now, the way you get paid in these deeper generations is by building pay line volume. And the bigger your pay line commission is, the deeper you'll get paid into your matching bonus. To where when you optimize and then you optimize a second income position, you've kind of maxed out your ability to qualify into the matching bonus. So let's do a quick example and we'll kind of wrap up with this example of matching bonus. So let's say you go out and you sign up your 3 brand partners. They do a combined base commission earnings of $5,000 USD. You're going to get paid 7% matching bonus on those 3 brand partners. So 5,000 times 7% ends up being an additional $350 into your check, which is super cool. That was you profiting on them making money. Okay, which is I love the concept. Generation 2, you had a bunch of people who earned a combined total of $3,000 USD. You get paid 6% on those points, so $180. Generation 3, you got 5% on 2,500 points, $125. And as you can see, the deeper you go, the more people that you have, and depending on what the volume sizes are, we're just going to give you a straight percentage match of what those people underneath you earn. In this example, that was an extra $1,500 a week. Now, matching bonus, super cool. There's definitely, this is the long-term place where you're going to make the most money in our plan. So it's in your best interest to help people that you sponsor to be successful, because hey, that's matching bonus money that's going to be in your pocket. There's no limit, there's no cap on matching bonus. This is another reason why it ends up being a very lucrative part of our plan. We don't cap it, so you can get as much or as little as you want in that plan, or in that part of our plan. There's also a dynamic compression feature. So if there's people that you sponsored that end up not being eligible for the matching bonus percentages, it does compress. They can be removed out of that, and it can compress deeper levels up to you that you can get paid on. Okay. All right. I told you I was only going to go through 7 of these, so I'm going to not talk about business rewards. We'll just kind of leave it there with the matching bonus part of our plan. Questions? Blessing, how do we do?
We've got some questions in the chat box right here.
Great.
So although you way past that one, but we have a question from someone who was asking about the percentage payout. What determines the percentage payout for the auto balance, within each business level?
Yeah, let's see if we can go back to that slide. So really what would determine it is Let me see if I can find my slides so we can look at the percentages. There we go. So auto balancing, depending on where that volume ends up, it would be what would determine it going from 5% to 10%. I don't know how to correctly go into this. This might be one that we come back to next week with a little bit more. We can spend a little bit more time on, and maybe I'll see if I can find an illustration on how to correctly show this to you guys. But basically, if you had, let's say you had nobody, you had 2 lines to build in, and you had nobody in either of those 2 lines, auto balancing would put part of the volume on one side and part of the volume on the other side. So let's say you had 100 points extra to pay on one side or the other. If it's a 10% on half the points, you're going to get 5%. It's basically going to be 5% over here. What we're saying is the higher your business level, it increases up that floor of what you would get on that point value that's on that side. It's very hard to articulate that without being able to illustrate that for you. I tell you what, let me take that as a homework assignment, and we'll come back and we'll dive into this one next week a little bit more. I'll try and have an illustration that I can show with that. Okay.
Perfect, Dan, because I think that the next week where you're going through the commission summary, there's a place where it talks about auto balance. We probably will get a summary that has auto balance, and then you can better share with a real case scenario.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Banda was asking, is the savings plan automated?
Great question. Yes, it is. Savings plan is done automatically for you every single week. So your base commission exceeds $250 USD, we will attribute 15% of that towards your savings plan goal. And then it's tracked for you in your back office as well. So there's a dedicated place in your back office where you can see how you're tracking towards your savings plan goal.
Okay. I know the last question there was something Misha wanted you to do, but I think that we would talk more about it next week. She wanted a quick comparison of the 3 comp plans you mentioned. You know, what's the major difference between this compensation plan?
Between the 3 plans? The main ones are in Plan C, you have first order bonus. In the other 2 plans, you have new volume bonus, and they work. There's some definite differences there. The base commission is a little bit less, so it's 10% in Plan C. In the other markets, it's 15%. The matching bonus percentages are a little bit less. Also, your eligibility requirement is less, so it only takes 20 points to be commission eligible in Plan C. In the other markets, it's 100 points every 4 weeks to stay eligible. So there's some things that they're just different. I mean, it's just some nuances to the plan to make it a little bit more affordable for people in some of these at-large markets.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. So the requirements are lesser, and so you would expect that the earnings too are lesser. And so where the requirements are higher, the earnings too are higher.
Yeah. So yeah, it's as the market starts to develop and grow sales wise, we can always graduate a market from Plan C to a higher plan. So we could always we could always change that to plan B or plan A. But with that would come an increased eligibility requirement, which you would jump from 20 PV to 100 PV. So that's kind of where it's at right now.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. I see comments already in the chat box. Thank you, Dan. Simplified. Complan simplified.
Great. Great. Well, I appreciate being able to jump on this call with you guys today. Thank you so much for inviting me. Blessing, thank you for putting this call together. And let me know. I'll try and come back with some examples next week on the auto balancing. And then if we end up with the same group next week, maybe we'll tailor make it to either review things that they want to see again, talk about some other things, and we can tailor make this however we want it to be. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dan. That works for us in Africa. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you, team. You can unmute and say your goodbyes.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you,
Amazing
Dan.
call. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much, Dan. Have a good week.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. It's a good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.